Good evening, everyone. It is so great to be here to speak with you tonight about conquering your stress and really how you can take control and create calmness in your life. That what I find these days is so many people are so rushed and so stressed and overwhelmed that sometimes they don't get time to really or don't identify how they can create calm in their life and how they can be a better way. So that's what it's all about tonight. This is being recorded, so if you do want to turn off your camera, that's perfectly fine. But if you do have any questions, please put them into the chat box. I would love to be able to see what's going on. If you've got any questions, we do have a question and answer time at the end. And please stay to the end because we will be doing a bit of an exercise to help conquer stress and create calm in your life and really get on top of what is triggering your stress. So let's get into it for tonight. There's a few more people jump on there. So let me ask you, are you sick and tired of just dragging yourself through each and every day? Being monotonous, feeling like you just get over the previous day and then you've got to start it all again? Or are you feeling that you're constantly fatigued, even though you've had to sleep? You've slept through the night, but you're waking up tired and waking up dragging yourself through the day. Or you might be feeling overwhelmed and feel like you're failing in your role of your everyday tasks, whether it be as a mum, as an employee, as a business owner, as a partner. Whatever it is that you're doing each and every day, do you feel like you're failing because you're so stressed and you're so tired? And maybe you're not being your whole self. Are you constantly forgetting things or feel like you've got foggy brain? It used to be called nappy brain, but I think it's a little bit more than just being a bit foggy thought after having a baby. This foggy brain seems to continue, especially when people get quite stressed and overwhelmed. And you might have adult children and say, no, I can't have the excuse of nappy brain anymore. And do you want to live your life feeling enthusiastic, vital, and energized? That's my aim in life, is to be able to live every day to the fullest and to really enjoy each and every day. So stay till the end, because what is occurring at the end is we will do a beautiful technique. And this beautiful technique is called emotional freedom technique. And if you haven't experienced it before, it is a wonderful technique. And I love using it with all of my clients. And we're going to do a bit of a hands-on process at the end to help you eliminate those feelings of overwhelmed, stress, wherever you're at the moment. And it will be guided to where you guys are all at today. So let me see, anyone that doesn't know me, why is this different? Because if you don't know me, I will tell you my story in a moment, but I do understand the pressures of the everyday woman. Not only do I see it in clinic each and every day, but I also have experienced it in my own life, in the fact that I am a business owner, I am a naturopath, and have my own family, household tasks, finances, taking the kids to after school activities, taking the kids to and from school, all of that, and feeling like sometimes there's just not enough energy for each and every day. And it's because there is stress and overwhelm. So I do understand that with how you might be feeling, but I am here to tell you that there is a hard way and there is a stress-free way of doing this. So there is a way that you can live your life and still do the myriad of tasks that you have to do, but feel like you're in control. And there are so many women that are able to do this as well. So I invite you to be part of that movement of changing the world that way. So this is the beautiful Alana. She was feeling overwhelmed with some changes in her life, newborn baby. And this was her just saying thank you, that she felt normal and she felt like she was able to live her life the way she wanted to, especially being there for her newborn baby as well. So my promise to you tonight is I'm going to show you how to successfully reduce the impact of stress and how you can take charge of your day and create calm in your life. You see, stress is a big killer. It's a big trigger for many, many diseases. So we need to be able to take charge of our day and not live in a state of stress. Because part of living in a state of stress can be that you have all of these challenges. Can you relate to any of these? You can put a note in the chat box if you want. You push yourself through each day, feeling tired and irritable. You're feeling like a failure because you just don't have the energy to keep going with all of the myriad of tasks that you've got. Or you feel like you've lost yourself amongst the number of roles that you have. I always say to my kids, it feels like I've got different hats on, and I have to put the hat of a mum on, or a hat of a business person, or the hat of whoever, whatever it is at the time I need to do. Sometimes I feel like I have to put a different hat on to do that role. And do you ever feel like you get lost with that? Or do you feel like you're just treading water? You're just treading, you're not getting to the side of the pool, you're just staying in the same place and finding it really hard and don't know how to hold on? Or do you feel uninspired and unmotivated and don't know how your life is ever going to change? I know I've felt some of these in my life before, and I thought I was the only one feeling this way. So I invite you that if you are feeling these challenges, that you reach out to someone. Let others know how you're feeling. Because sometimes we put on the brave face of, yes, we're in control, we've got everything under control, it's fine, we're cruising through it, and underneath we're crumbling. And it's sometimes about reaching out to someone who can help so that you can flow through the day, that you can be that person you're projecting without the crumbling inside. So I invite you to have a think just for a moment. What would your life look like when you're living with ease? When you're living in the flow? When stress is controlled and it doesn't control you? That you feel like everything that you've planned and all your tasks are just falling into place, and you have the energy to get through those tasks. But more importantly, you have the energy to live your life to the fullest. Take a moment, really just visualize, what does your life look like? What's your ideal day look like? Because these are some of the opportunities that you've got, is to reduce your overwhelm using simple strategies. Have a plan to reconnect with yourself, just with simple techniques. Restore your health and well-being so that you feel calmer, that you feel more balanced and in control. And what about waking up each and every day feeling refreshed, getting up and going, I'm ready to start the day. Let's get into this. Maybe you're even looking at losing weight without having to go to the gym and pound out lots of hours in the gym. So this is my story. For those of you that don't know me, I do have 2 degrees. I've got a degree with a double major in biochemistry and microbiology, and my second degree is in naturopathy. And I've been a naturopath for now 24, almost 25 years. So that's over 23. But also along the way, I love learning. So I constantly add to my core skills with other skills as well. So I'm now an NLP practitioner, which is a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, hypnotherapist, emotional freedom technique practitioner, timeline therapy, and meditation facilitator. But most importantly, I'm a mother to 2 children. And yes, previously in my life, I have had some significant health challenges. It's not why I got into naturopathy. I've always wanted to be in a profession that helps others. But along the way, I have had my own health challenges, and I have had to use my skills to help myself through that and conquer those disease conditions. Currently, I do live with a husband who has his own significant health challenges, and that does put, I suppose, a load on me as far as being the primary person for finances, for household duties, for work, for helping those kids, driving my kids around to after school activities. All of that now falls on me. So I'm very aware of how much life can be demanding on the present day mum, and how it is hard to juggle. It can be hard to juggle the roles of work and home life, but I'm here to tell you that I do it, and it can be done. But along the way of my journey as well, I've also written 2 books. Both of them were Amazon bestsellers, and I'm very thankful for that, very privileged for that. Also have won the 2021 the Gold Stevie Award for Women in Business for Australia, New Zealand and Asia. And that was a privilege as well, and an honour. And I was so excited when I did receive that news about that. Because my sole purpose is to help spread the message that you can be healthy, you can conquer your health, you can live life to the fullest. And any way that I can do that is something that I like to do, hence why doing these kinds of webinars as well. So, is your past, do you feel like you're struggling through each day? Feeling irritable, unmotivated, exhausted? Maybe even you're suffering with weight gain and you just don't know how to change. You don't know how to make the changes. Well, tonight I'm going to promise you that I will show you simple steps to reduce your daily stress, to restore calm, and to create the life that you want to live with energy, vitality, and being able to feel fabulous again. Isn't that amazing to be able to live life feeling fabulous, feeling energized, feeling like you're ready to take on every moment of your day without feeling that overwhelm? So my question to you, with where you're at the moment, where you are currently in your life is a sum of all the actions and decisions and thoughts that you've made up until now. So everything you've done so far has got you to where you are today. And now it is the time to make some changes for a new future, because unless you make some changes, it won't change. Wishing tomorrow will change without taking action is not going to make any changes. And I realized that a few years back when I was in a place of a bit of stress, of a bit of overwhelm, a lot. And I realized that all my thoughts, all my feelings, all my actions, all my habits, all my life's challenges had taken me onto a path where I was at that time. And if I wanted anything to change, I had to make the changes. And yes, those changes can be baby steps, but it's about making some form of change for you instead of sitting and waiting for something to happen for you. It's much better to help the process along and take the action, take that step. And so these are some of the beautiful people that I have worked with over time that have been lovely enough to give me reviews and give me recommendations and explain about their experience so that others can see how things can change. And beautiful Amy, she was on a big journey, been to lots of different people, lots of different ways of trying to deal with what was going on for her, and really struggling with life. And now she's got the energy and she can take control of her life. And the beautiful Lee Alaban, I've loved seeing her journey, and she's such an inspiring woman. And I have worked with her whole family as well. So that's lovely. To me, that's a big recommendation when someone brings their whole family to see me as well. So it is all about looking at the whole big picture. And that's like with Tess, working with her so that we could work through the stress and her hormonal imbalances to help her with her energy and what she wanted to achieve in her life. So let's get into a few tips on what you can do to help to control your stress. So I'm going to ask, do you suffer from the superhero effect? It can also be called the superwoman effect, where you neglect yourself, that you stretch yourself too thin, Say yes to too many people, or don't say no enough. Feel like you have to do it all. Feel like everything falls on you and you have to do it to perfection. And maybe even with that, you don't feel reward when you do achieve something because you're so stressed, so burnt out, so overwhelmed from the pressures, whether they be internal or external. So this is the superhero effect, superwoman effect. Because we commonly overestimate what we can do in a day, and we take on so many tasks, but we underestimate the real time that it takes us to get through a task. And so this can result in burnout for a lot of women, that they've stretched themselves too thin, they do too much and feel like they're not achieving in anything and don't feel rewarded. So my question to you is to take a moment. Let's take a moment now. Have a look at this wheel. It's called the Wheel of Life. And you can either draw it out in front of you or in your mind, rate each one of these sections of your life. Now, the goal here is not to have 10s in every single category of life. That's where sometimes it is achievable, but sometimes when we aim for that, to have 10s in every aspect of our life, that's when we feel like we're overwhelmed and stressed. But what we want with this is that we want each of the sections in our life to be equal. So whether they be all at 5s or 6s, but if you can fill this out at the moment, you might find that in your work and your business, you're feeling like you're at 8 out of 10. But in your health and vitality, you might feel like you're 2 out of 10. Or that your physical fitness isn't where it should be or where you want it to be. And so that might be a 5 out of 10. Or you don't get any time for hobbies, fun and recreation, and that might be a 1 out of 10. Can you see how if this was a wheel and one section had a 10, the next section had a 5, the next one had a 1, that if this was a wheel going around in circles, it would be a very hard ride because it would be very bumpy and the wheel wouldn't turn. So the aim of this is to have every aspect of our life even, or within a range of everything else, that we want balance. This is all about balance. So as you fill out this wheel of life, if there is somewhere that is low, make that as being the first port of call that you take action for. So say it is your physical fitness and activity levels. If it is a 5 out of 10, then taking a step to increase your physical activity. Find something that you love to do. Or if hobbies are at 0 out of 10, which I'm going to say a lot of women that come to me, when I ask them about their hobbies and what they do, what they enjoy doing, their passions, they just go, don't have any anymore. Haven't had any since I had kids. So that's when I talk to them about, okay, how can we bring something back in that gives you reward, that gives you some fun, that lights you up? And it could be something simple like gardening. It could be coloring in. It could be dancing around the house, reading a book, playing a sport. Whatever it is that you love to do as a hobby or that you used to do, bringing that back in and just making it, that might be 10 minutes. I had a client once who was so busy and she loved to paint, but she said, you know what, every time I have to put everything out, put my paint easel out, get all the paints out, and I start to paint, it's time to pack it away. I've only got 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm like, okay, well, let's work out a way that you could have it already sitting up there and you could come in for 10 minutes and paint. Enjoy that time and then leave the easel there. So what she did is she made it that there was a section of a room in her house where she could leave it there. And she could come in whenever she wanted to do 10 minutes worth of painting, clean up the brushes and then leave. And she didn't have to pull everything down and move it out and pack it away. And that helped her. So it's just taking those little steps. So find out where your main stress is impacting you in each of these sections, and then pick one to be where you start. And then once you've conquered that one, then you move to the next lowest number, and we move through that way. And that way we move through all of the arms of your life. A superwoman isn't a woman who can do anything, but a woman who avoids doing too much. We all think that we have to do everything, be everything, and achieve everything for everyone. But it's about working smarter, not harder, is virtually what I believe Shirley's saying for this. And the beautiful Linda, she is someone that has been very busy throughout her life, running her own business, really needing to keep up with physically and mentally her business. And she needed just some guidance to help with her nutrition and to help with keeping her body at a peak physical state as she was living her life. And the beautiful Linda, she was still working physically up until I'm going to say retired, but she's not even fully retired. She's kicking goals still, working in a different way and enjoying what she does now, but she's got the health and the energy to keep all of that up. So step 2 is planning, but effectively planning. So it's about taking 10 minutes a day to plan out what needs to happen. What is your priorities? Because most people try to do a myriad of tasks. They have a task list the length of a whole A4 page. And they look at it, get overwhelmed, go, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do. A majority of those tasks never get done. But if you can plan, and you can plan 3 things from that list, the 3 most important things to get done in that day, and then work your way through those 3, you'll accomplish them and you'll feel like you've succeeded at the end of the day. You see, we've all got 24 hours in the day. And it's how we use and plan those 24 hours that's the main part of it. Because if you had 50 hours in a day, do you think you'd get anything more done? Or do you still think that to-do task would get longer and you'd still feel overwhelmed? And I was once listening to someone speak. She's a mum of 9 kids, which is a feat in itself. Hats off to you. But she was talking about how she planned everything and how she had to-do lists, and she'd go through them and she'd methodically check off everything. And being a mum of 9 kids, you'd have to be extremely organized to be able to cope with all of their tasks and events and everything that's going on, plus the house. I mean, I've got 2 children, and keeping up with their after-school activities and school activities is enough, let alone 9. But my point with this beautiful lady was that she had 9 kids, she had to be organized, and she was explaining how she was organized. But at one stage she held up, and I don't have one, but let's say this is a book. She had a folder quite thick, and she said, this is my to-do list. And it was thick, and she sort of flicked through all the pages. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, if I had to look at that, I would feel overwhelmed each and every day. She said, I have this and I will work through. I picked some things out of it. But what she did say was she only picked a couple of tasks. So that was more like her wish list. And then her main tasks that she had to do, she put in a separate folder that didn't have all of those. And it looks, well, this is my version of it anyway. This is my version of what I use. So it's about picking 3 tasks, listing them down, and then planning it into your day. So if you can take 10 minutes, it could be the morning off the day, or even better, the night before. Taking 10 minutes before you go to sleep, write out what needs to happen tomorrow, plan out your day, and it will help you to sleep easier because your brain has been able to download what needs to happen tomorrow. And during the night, you're not going, I've got to do this tomorrow and I've got to do that and I've got to do this. When am I going to book that in? Instead, it's all planned out and you can find with ease that the day will flow. But remembering to set enough time for each task, because we underestimate the amount of time that it takes us. So building in fudge factor time. And what I mean by that is building in time that for things to go wrong, because let's face it, things do go wrong. Maybe they do. Or a task will take you longer, or there'll be an emergency that comes up that you need to attend to. And if you've got some time in your day that you can shuffle things around and you've got fudge factor time that you can move into, that you're not chasing your tail and feeling if something goes wrong, the rest of the day will follow. Because this gives you that flexibility. So it is about flexibility there. And Brian Tracy, he's a motivational speaker. He says that every minute you spend in planning, whoops, what's going on here? We've gone too far. Excuse me one moment. Now I can't get back. Let's just go back to here. There we go. Every minute you spend planning saves you 10 minutes in execution. So he suggests that you have an 1,000% return on your energy, which is amazing. So it's very important to plan your day. And the beautiful Rachel, she wanted just to improve her health, her physical health. And it was just by doing a few small key things for her life that gave her the biggest rewards. So step 3 is effective techniques. And this helps you to foster awareness of your thoughts. Because the biggest thing is to be aware of your thoughts. So many times stress is caused by our thoughts, not necessarily our job or our partner or the children or the traffic or the person that cut you off at the shopping center. It's about your thoughts and your reaction to it. So it's important to be aware of your thoughts. And if you do go into a negative spiral, to be aware of it quick enough to say, stop, take a moment, use some techniques to reduce those stressful thoughts that are going on, because it's the thoughts that create the situation, not the other way around. It's our reaction to the situation. There is a saying that 95% of stress comes from our reaction, not the situation itself. And so by doing this, we can then develop techniques that suit you and your lifestyle to stop the stressful thoughts that then impact on your body. And an example I give of that is, I don't know if you're scared of snakes. Think of something you're scared of. Jumping out of an airplane, snakes, spiders, something that you're afraid of. And picture yourself in that situation, whether it's if you're jumping out of a plane, that skydive, that you're standing at the edge of the plane, looking down over the earth with someone behind you going, jump. Or if, for me, it's a snake. And I grew up on property, but I'm thinking about a snake being around my feet, and I can already feel that my chest is tightening. I'm having trouble talking, having trouble thinking. Do you know what? There's no snake at my feet. But it's the thought that's creating the response in my body. There is no snake. And yet my body is still reacting in a fearful state as if there was a snake there. So stopping the thought and being aware of the thought so that you can then create the change is the most important part. And by doing this and then having something that changes the situation, which is a technique, you make these techniques into habits. So some of those techniques can be these ones. deep breathing techniques. So if you're at work and you're stressed and the phone's constantly ringing and people are coming at you, I talk to my clients a lot about taking 60 seconds to do deep breathing, where they breathe into the count of 5, hold it for 2, breathe out to the count of 5, hold it for 2, and repeat that, generally around 4 to 5 times. And at the end of that, the thought pattern, all you're doing is concentrating on your breath. The thought patterns, the stress inside your body calms down. Your heart rate changes. And then your body's got more oxygen to it, so you can make better quality decisions about the situation that's in front of you. So the regular deep breathing techniques are a great one to do if you're stressed. If you're driving and the kids are yelling in the back seat, you could be breathing deeply while you're driving. Or if you're at work, you could take a moment, go to the bathroom, take some nice deep breaths, and then come back out and address the situation again. So I always find deep breathing is a great way something that you can do to change your reaction to the situation quickly. And it doesn't take a lot of time to do that. Maintaining physical activity is another technique. So exercising helps to burn off the stress hormones. The muscles help to get rid of the stress hormones in the body and gives you a dopamine response. And that dopamine response is your reward. So it doesn't mean that when you get stressed, you go for a run. Instead, it's about having that physical activity, whatever the physical activity is that you like, whether it's sport, whether it's yoga, whether it's going for a walk, whatever it is for you that you like to do. And doing it regularly, because there's been a lot of studies that are showing over 8 weeks, it really does help with the stress response. So keeping that going long term. Might be that you do a meditation, 10-minute meditation. There are so many apps that you can do. I've got some recorded meditations on my phone that I do when I need them. They're only short. And I've even got some, if you need some, I've got some recorded ones as well on, they're not on my website. We do need to send them to you, but there are a lot of meditations around. And it doesn't have to be an hour-long meditation. Could be 10 minutes. Calm the mind. Concentrate on your breath. Focus yourself again. And many times these techniques help us to think of another way of dealing with the situation, something that we didn't think about the first time. I find that when I'm walking. So my physical activity, I do personal training a couple of times a week, and I do walking, but my walking is almost meditative. And usually when I'm walking, it does give me a different way to think about a situation. And all of a sudden I see things from a different viewpoint. And I get a different answer, something I didn't think about before. And I sometimes find that with meditation as well. But a great one is also called emotional freedom technique. And that's what we're going to have a look at a bit later tonight. It's also called EFT or tapping. And it is a technique where we can work through the negative thoughts or the negative feelings to help release that from our body, because we tend to hold them inside our body. And it is amazing. It is an amazing technique. And I get such great results with my clients when I use it in clinic here. It's very short. We can do it within 10 to 15 minutes. And at the end of it, so many of my clients go, wow, I feel a lot better. I feel like that's not taking over my body. That situation or that thought isn't taking over my body anymore. And I've even used EFT personally for myself for some quite significant life events where I felt like I was drowning in the event and that it was taking over. And funnily enough, I would go walking, doing the EFT while I was walking. And it is a technique where we tap in certain acupressure points of the body as we work through and sort of vocalize the negative emotions that we're feeling. And it just helps to lift the emotion from the body. And I'm sure that people, probably when I'm walking, they think I'm a little bit weird when I'm tapping in certain areas as I'm walking. But I did see recently, even pink the rock star singer Pink, she uses this technique as well. I was really interested to see an interview where she talked about a meditative thing that she does where she taps. And I went, I know what you're talking about. So it is amazing at how much this can help. So it's about finding the technique that suits you and working with that. So breath is the power behind all things. I breathe in and I know that good things will happen. And it is all about the breath. Each of those that I was just speaking about, there is a portion of breath to them. The beautiful Teresa, been able to take charge of her health because she was able to be given the knowledge and the understanding about what was going on with her health. So she felt like she was in control of her health and she could make changes rather than being a victim to what was going on and feeling stressed about the unknown. So reduce stress, calm living, and an abundant energy is possible. And if you feel like you're alone, I can tell you you're not alone. And I've said this before, at times when I was going through some big things, I thought I was the only one feeling this way. And it was only once I started talking to a couple of people that they went, yeah, this I feel that way. Or so many other people would stand up and go, you know what? I felt that too at some stage. And the great news is many people are taking charge of their stress and they're feeling calm and organized again. And there is a way to get out of this. So stress is not what happens to us, but it's our response to what happens. That's supposed to say our response, not out response, to what happens to us. And response is something we can choose. And that is the empowering part, is the response is something we can choose. Once we have the techniques, we can choose how we deal with this. And it is about understanding what is going on so that you can take that plan of action, that you can make that choice and that response rather than feeling like you're a victim to what's happening. So my question to you is, how will tomorrow be different? How are you going to stop struggling and start taking control of your stress response? Because there are possible paths. I see that there's 3 possible paths from today to 12 months and away from now. Some people will just keep plodding along, keep doing the same thing each and every day. And they'll be what's called surviving, the yellow line. So 6 months' time, 12 months' time, they'll be the same place they are now, just getting through each and every day. Some people might find that their health gets worse because stress does affect disease. It triggers disease. So some people might find that they're much worse if they don't take any action. And that 12 months' time, they're much worse than where they are today. And then there is a path where you can make things better. You can make positive change and take the path that you feel better and in control in 6 to 12 months' time, or even longer or shorter. So it's about taking action, because insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. And if you want to know more about how to live a fabulous life with energy, vitality, and calmness, then there are things that you can do. But I ask you, do you want to have some support in getting the direction that you want to go into of those paths? Like if you're going to choose the path where you take action and go follow the green line, do you want some support? And while this next part might not be for everyone, and that's okay, I do have programs to help conquer your health, where you receive step-by-step instructions. You receive the techniques, adopt different techniques and create them into habits so that it becomes part of your everyday life, so that you can ditch the stress, you can reduce your weight, you can reclaim your energy, you can live in a calmer environment, feeling like you're taking control of your health. And for this, I do have 3 different packages. It depends on the intensity, but it's really the level that you want to go to, that you want to take this to. And as we go through each of the packages, it's more about the add-ons and the benefits that you can get from that. So the first package is Build Your Health, and it's 3 sessions, one-on-one, to help uncover and resolve your health challenges. And it is a combination of I use my naturopathy skills, my emotional freedom technique skills, my hypnotherapy. We use the live blood screening, and you get recorded meditation. And you also get a checklist as you're moving through this. And so this is more for current fatigue, short-term challenges that really do help you discover the concepts of health. But then there's the second package, which is Grow Your Health. It's everything in the first package, but we have another 3 sessions. So it's 6 sessions in total. And this also includes the timeline therapy, which is another therapy to help with emotions and blockages, particularly things from your past that might be holding you back for your future. And you get a recording of your personalized hypnotherapy session and what we go through with that. And it is personalized to you. You do get a nutritional plan, and there's 3 recipes in that. So we work out more about what to eat, the types of foods to bring in, and you get 6 months email support. And then the third package is the Accelerate Your Health. So it's everything in the last 2 packages, plus you get 2 extra sessions. So that's a total of 8 sessions, one-on-one with me to conquer your health and to really get to the crux of the physical, mental, and emotional well-being. You get a lot of trackers, a lot of templates to help you to install new lifelong habits, questionnaires to establish where you're at, and templates to structure your day, to get everything moving and get everything into flow so that you don't have to think, have I done this today? It becomes automatic, just a bit like brushing your teeth. You get the roadmap for health, 28-day meal plan with all the recipes and the shopping list, just to make it really easy, that take away the decision fatigue as well, and 12 months email support. So when you work with me, I will personally show you techniques and strategies that you can easily incorporate into your life now to help you break any of the bad habits that's got you to where you are now, so that you can instill new routines to take you on the path for better health. Help guide you to prepare healthy meals that are easy, not time consuming, can streamline. I love streamlining the time in my kitchen. I really have minimized the amount of time that I have to spend in the kitchen, and I'll show you how I do that. Provide strategies for you to wake up feeling more refreshed each and every day and ready to start the day. So these packages are great if you want to reclaim your energy and your vitality, if you want to reduce your stress and restore your calm. Maybe you're suffering from some menopausal symptoms and you want to get rid of those. Losing weight. So many of my clients come to me struggling with weight, and it's just about dealing with a couple of the core issues, and then they start to lose weight without having to slog it out at the gym. Eliminate bloating and digestive discomfort. Also improving your sleep and waking refreshed. Overcoming autoimmune disease. So if there's if you're suffering from autoimmune disease, that can be turned off. I've done it. There are ways that we can turn off autoimmune disease. You do not have to live with it forever. Conquer your recurrent infections. Balance your hormones and eliminate PMT, PMS, and the heavy periods. You don't have to suffer from the heavy periods. So the beautiful Jenny, she came to me with chronic fatigue and autoimmune disease, and she felt like she had no hope or no way of getting through it. So it was about working with her to show her the pathway that she could enjoy healing and the process of getting her life back on track again. So if you are wanting to take the next step for conquering your health and reclaiming your health, then this is the link. You can use the little QR code there, or you can go to that URL and book a free 15-minute clarity call. It's no hard sales techniques. It is just a call to see what's going on for you, how I might be able to work with you and answer any of your questions to help you feel more comfortable about the next step that you want to take. So my question to you is, what have you done up until now that's got you to where you are today? What are you going to do different tomorrow? Remember, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. Because now is the time to make changes for your future. Now is the time. There is not going to be any better time than now. So if you're wanting to take action, book a clarity call with me. I'd love to be able to chat with you and see how I can help. So that's the QR code. You can put your phone up against the QR code. If you're on your phone right now, you can take a screenshot and use the QR code later, or you can go to that URL, bit.ly/Teressa-Todd-clarity call, and book your free 15-minute call. Like I said, I'd love to be able to chat. No hard selling. It is just working out what is going to be the best options for you. And I will be the first one to say, yes, I can help assist you. These are some of the paths that we can do, or no, this is not quite right. Here's another option for you. So like I said, there is no hard selling with that. It is about what is best for you and your health. So right now, for those who are on this live, we're going to do an emotional freedom technique. It's so exciting. I love doing this technique. I will stop the recording for this because it is just for those who are here, and I'm going to ask some questions for everyone that's here so we can work out exactly what you're feeling and what's going on. So I will pause the recording for this, and we'll do that technique right now. So great. We just did the emotional freedom technique. And like I said, if there's any questions, love to be able to help you out. If you're wanting to book that clarity call, please book it. There's the URL link and the QR code, so you can scan that to make it as easy as possible. Or you can also go to my website, www.teressatodd.com. And on my website, under the booking link, there is also a clarity call option there as well. So I'd love to be able to speak with you and answer any of your questions in the clarity call. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and have a wonderful rest of the day.